So we are on the 9th talk. The 8th talk last week talked about affection and sex. It's a very interesting actually topic. No, sometimes it's really not for the faint-hearted. No, very direct yung mga examples ni Chito at saka ni Ana, very interesting. For some, these are very new things, although we know them, but the perspective of affection and sex and how they are intertwined in the aspect of marriage was we've learned that sex is part of God's plan in our marriage, and in the context of marriage, the purpose of it. We also heard that affection plays an important role, no, in the context also of the life of the husband and wife. No? Maganda yung talk. I was here last week, and even if I'm married for how many years, when I hear it, no, there are new things, no, perspectives that I learn. So for tonight, we'll have our 9th session entitled "It's Okay to be Different." It's okay to be different. No? But before that, we plugged an activity that's forthcoming on the 14th of May. No, Charlie mentioned this. It's a little bit a continuation of what we're offering from Ligaya, and together in collaboration with Pathways, our evangelization arm in Cubao. So it's entitled Lifeline. It's a Christian Life series. And let me ask somebody who has gone through that to share us a little bit of what her experience of this kind of Christian Life series. So we'll have a glimpse of it. May I ask Pam Mabagos to tell us about that?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Pam Mabagos, wife to Odi and a mom of 2 kids. Just like you, we were also participants in the initial run of Blueprint for a Better Marriage 2 years ago. I can say that Blueprint has helped Odi and me realize our roles as husband and wife, and how marriage, when orderly and peaceful, can be a source of joy, security, and contentment. It was reassuring to know that we were not alone in the highs and lows of our relationship, and that there were people who will support us, and most of all, that God wants the best out of our union. All of this became possible as we attended a series of talks on the Christian life, pretty much like the Lifeline series. Attending the series took a little growing into, but I kept an open mind about better possibilities ahead. The series has helped me a lot because it laid out the groundwork for my faith. There is a God, and His love for us is infinite, and His plan for us to have He has a plan for us to have an intimate relationship with Him. He wants in our lives. Therefore, I also let Him in our marriage. This gave me a better appreciation of my role as a wife. But take note, better appreciation doesn't always mean good execution. So when challenges arose, it was comforting to know that the God I came to know was always there to help me out. So yes, when I chose to give God a chance, He did nothing but wonders in my life. Fast forward to 5 years after, we are now here, still learning, sometimes failing, but getting back up again. But what has changed is a clearer sense of purpose and the stability of having God as my cornerstone. What He has done for me is life-changing, life-giving, and I'm so thankful I chose a life with Him. He is indeed my lifeline. Thank you.
It starts May 14. No, it will run for about seven Mondays, same venue, almost at the same time, 7:30. Okay, let's go on with our main activity tonight. As I've said, our session tonight, I think you've read it or glanced, no? The session entitled It's okay to be different. No, it's okay to be different. We've invited a couple, no? itong couple na to halos sabay kaming naging parent eh. No? Nauna lang yung anak ko ng how many months? No? A year. So, nung una hindi kami masyadong magkakilala, nagkikita lang kami dun sa pedya. So, maliit pa yung anak ko, maliit pa yung anak niya. Mas maliit yung anak ko kahit mas matanda yung anak ko kasi priming anak ko, di ba? So, nagkikita kami nitong couple na ito pag nagpapacheck up. No? This couple, I would say, are very generous. Later, you'll know why. No? But they're generous in heart. No? They're here. Their names are Roy Luna and Wendy Luna. No? Roy has a full-time job. No? He's a director and principal engineer, and I would say a senior partner of their own company, the AMH Consulting Philippines. Tama ba yan? Yeah. Nilista ko dito kasi ang dami nitong ginagawa nitong kumpanyang ito. No? They are into civil engineering, geotechnical engineering, hazard assessment, structure assessment, no? All sorts, no? Pag may dinidevelop na malaki, usually they are asked as consultants to study the hazardous effect of all these things, no? So, he's also a member of our community, a very much dedicated brother. He's everywhere, but I think Wendy and Roy lives a very balanced life. No? They are able to serve their own family. They are able to serve the church by being here tonight, no? Sharing their time with us. They also have time with their children, and I could see that they've experienced that when Roy goes after a day's job, he rushes to the children and sits with them and have dinner. So Wendy, on the other hand, no, just like my wife, is a domestic diva. No, domestic diva. So much sabi nga ng asawa ko, and ang domestic diva shouldn't be taken so lightly because the work at home and making a house a home is also a very important part of family life. Let me now call Roy and Wendy to give us their sharing on this session.
Thank you, Henry. Good evening. My wife Wendy will be joining me later. No? Medyo na-inspire ako dun sa sharing ni Pam, no, about plugging Lifeline, no, because I was recalling my own journey, attending sessions like this, and eventually the Christian Life series, which is similar to Lifeline, has really been a life-changing encounter with me, a life-changing decision. No? And I've been telling the younger engineers in our firm, things like this is worth investing on, ano? Yung the stability in our marriage and in our family life that these things have provided allowed me to also accomplish a lot in terms of my professional career, no? Parang modesty aside, our firm, and even by God's grace, by God's graciousness, we're able to achieve a lot, no? And I would attribute that to the stability also of family and marriage that I'm experiencing now. I'm telling our younger engineers, mas madaling maging successful sa career pagka stable yung ating married life, yung ating family. The other way around, no? Mahirap ayusin ang magulong pamilya even if we are successful in our respective careers. And that's why I honor you really, no, for really spending time, no, spending your Monday evenings here, and hopefully continuing with the Lifeline series. Before I proceed, my topic is It's Okay to be Different. I'd like to introduce to you my family. Si Henry, sinadya sigurong hindi banggitin, but it's quite a brood, no? So I have 6 sons, no? So, and later on, my wife will also share something about them, no? And this is our most recent photo. Hindi naman most recent, but last Christmas, ito yung aming photo dun sa stage nung altar, no, sa Ligaya after nung aming Christmas Mass. So, hopefully in the course of this sharing, this presentation, me and my wife would be able to share also about our family. So, it's okay to be different. But before that, continuation ito somehow ng game ni Carlo, I just would like to have a sense or a feel of the preferences of the crowd, no, or of the audience. So this is a simple game. What I would ask you is to raise your right hand. Halimbawa, you see this image or these two options, no? All meat, vegetarian pizza. Which is your preference? So, if the all meat, you raise your left hand. If the vegetarian, you raise your right. Okay ba yan? Sige. So, I just this is some sort of a survey, no? So, sige, itong sample na to, kung pareho, yeah. Sige, pizza, all meat or vegetarian? Okay. Dalawang kamay si Arnel, ano? Okay, good. Okay, for our hot beverage, coffee or tea? Oh, may mga magkaiba na, no? Fruit juice or soda? Healthy. Healthy. Okay. Sa ating gadget, iOS or Android? Okay, Android. So, but I can see, magkaiba na yung husband and wife, ano? So movies, romantic comedy or action suspense? Okay. So mukhang hindi magkasabay manood yung mag-asawa, no? Okay. Your relaxation, go to the gym or have a massage at this? Both. Okay. Eating out, Italian or Japanese? Travel goals or vacation place, El Nido or Sagada? So beach or the mountains? Travel goals outside the country, Paris, France, Europe or Cape Town? Okay. So lastly, family activities, are they mostly planned or spontaneous? Okay. Sige. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, it's okay to be different. Pero pagdating siguro doon sa mga major decisions like saan ba tayo titira, no? Are we migrating? Are we staying here? When presented with different career options, are we choosing this or are we choosing that? Or sa pagpapalaki ng mga anak, may mamamalo ba tayo or hindi? Or even the choice of where we will build our house or where we will send our children to school. So I'm sure the married couples here who have been married for a good number of years have been through those decision points, no? And I can imagine na mahaba yung mga naging pag-uusap dyan, mahaba yung mga naging diskusyon. And in our own experience, we're fortunate, no, that early on we were able to establish on open communication where we were able to thresh out our differences and then come up with decisions, no, that would be beneficial for the whole family in the long term. So our talk is, it's okay to be different. And one of the most common phrase or the best phrase that describes marriage is being one, no? Being or unity in marriage. It is one of the most powerful concepts of Christian marriage and one of the most misunderstood as well. God's design for marriage, the Lord's vision for marriage is unity. But it does not mean that the husband and wife are the same. No? The book 10 Weeks of Better Marriage by Randy Anthony Cerner describes three stages, no, of that we go through as a married couple. No? First is what they refer to as the Siamese twins stage. No? This is the time that we agree on just about everything. And probably this would be the time when, during the courtship stage, when we were pursuing our beloved, no? And that could probably extend during the honeymoon stage until probably a few more months, no? Hopefully, a couple of years. We agree on almost everything: lifestyle, raising children, size of family, money, politics, etc. Dito tayo kakain, okay, let's go. Ito gagawin natin, game, no? This is where we will spend our vacation, okay, no? And we knew, quote unquote, that our marriage would be trouble-free. Or so we thought, no? And the accent was on sameness. And then we moved to a point which the authors would refer to as the rude awakening stage. No? And this is the time of realization on how different the two of you really are. You don't really agree about all those areas that you thought you agreed on. And when it hits, you often react in discouragement and anger. And the stage 3, which is hopefully nandito na ang karamihan sa atin, and I can see the more mature couples smiling. So, napagdaanan na nila yung stage 1 and stage 2. And stage 3 is the one that counts. No? It is the stage of working together in unity while respecting each other's difference. No? A unity in goal and purpose in life, check. A unity in raising children, yes. A unity in good financial stewardship, yes. But thinking the same way and liking the same things, no. I think my slide on a quote from St. Augustine would put this into perspective, no? And it's something that we live by, no, as a couple. In essentials, unity. In non-essentials or in preferences, liberty. But in all things, love. In all things, love. Mamaya, when my wife shares, marami siyang ikikwento sa aming mga differences. But at the same time, how we were able to transcend those differences towards a higher goal, which is unity in marriage, which is stability in our family, which is joy in our home. The reality, brothers and sisters, if I may call you as such, is each of us comes to the marriage with distinct set of experiences and expectations. And these differences cover most of the formative influences that each of us brings to marriage. And this is just a long list, no, of these areas. No? Parental models, magkaiba yung ating mga kinalakihang environment, no? Upbringings, family traditions, yung family ng husband nyo, ganito yung ginagawa, kayo, ganito yung ginagawa, no? So which are not necessarily the same. Economic background, no? And we all know of a lot of stories na because they came from different economic status, no? It's a bit difficult for one of the couple. No? Personality types, obviously. Ethnic background. May kakilala akong couple, yung wife niya is from the Kankanaey tribe of yung sa Igorot, no? And when during their relationship stage, mabuti na lang at nagkaroon sila ng mahabang pagkakataon to get to know each other in a deeper way, and just studying and learning about the traditions, the rich traditions of the Kankanaey tribe brought a deeper understanding, no, of the brother, and brought them to a deeper realization, no, na kaya pala siya ganito is because of her ethnic background. And hindi naman yung naging dahilan para hindi matuloy yung relationship. In fact, because of that, bringing to that understanding, mas nakatulong yon as they move forward in marriage. Personal preferences, obviously. Sexual differences. As you will see later on, our physical makeup, our sexuality is poles apart, no? Magkaiba, no? Personal strengths and weaknesses, and previous experiences with men and women. Now, how do we move forward, moving into marriage, o kaya in our relationship as engaged couples? Randy Anthony Sirner would recommend that we identify the source or root of differences that the couple experience and deal with it on the level it should be dealt with. Differences rather than a sign of lack of love and commitment. Pwede naman kasi just choose the right ways of doing things. Ito yung sa joke na sinasabi ng mga lalaki. In our family, I always have the last say. Yes, dear. So, that can be an approach na, sige, payag na lang ako sa lahat ng, but that might not really be beneficial, no, for the long term. Or choose the husband's way of doing things. The wife can agree, sige na nga, but deep inside, nagbi-build up yung kanyang frustrations and discouragement. And then at some point, medyo mag-explode na lang, ano? Or choose a combination of two ways. Or start from scratch and design your own. Particularly, if you decide to live in a certain way of life, no? And kami ni Wendy, being part of a community like Ligaya ng Panginoon, provided us with a framework, with a platform, with a community that allowed us to live in a certain way of life, Christian way of life. No? And as I have shared at the outset, it provided stability, no, in our relationship and as we build our family. There's a need to understand the differences are operating, and it is not a question of who is right and who is wrong, but rather it is a question of two individuals trying to form one life together, the eternal mystery of how two can become one. And this is just the list of qualities, no, or tendencies commonly associated with women on one side and with men on the other side. And I won't go through them individually. Even on the area of affection and sex, as Chito and Anna has probably shared last week, magkaiba, no? And for those who missed that very exciting and very interesting presentation last week, may video po yon, and it's something that you can ask from your discussion group leader. So the book would highlight, no, these differences, but again, this perspective, this teaching of St. Augustine really helps, no, as we deal with these differences. In essentials, unity. In preferences, or in non-essentials, liberty or tolerance. But in all things, love. No? Ewan ko kung isi-share ito ni Wendy, no, but sa panonood lang ng sine, halimbawa, no, ako ang gusto ko yung mga action suspense, no, yung tipong mga Bourne series, no, or Jason Bourne, or itong huli yung Red Sparrow, no. Siya naman mas gusto niya yung mga romantic comedy, no. But after 16 years of marriage, she has learned, no, to appreciate those kinds of films. And on the other hand, ako na-appreciate ko na rin yung One More Chance at saka yung A Second Chance. No? Before I end and before I call Wendy, no, I'd like to leave some scriptural principles that will, again, bring us to the fundamental truth about marriage, no, and about our differences as men and women. First is from Genesis chapter 1:27. So God created mankind in His own image. In the image of God, He created them. Male and female, He created them. That says a lot. No? God created mankind in His own image. And in the image of God, He created them. So every time I would look at my spouse, I should be able to see God, and she should be able to see God in me. No? It also speaks about the reality that we are equal. No? We are both children of God, son and daughter of God. But notice the last line, no? Male and female, He created them. The distinction between men and women, male and female, was emphasized, no? Even in Genesis. No? In God's reality, He made differences for our good, for all the good of all human race, and that is God's wonderful plan. This arrangement is called complementarity. So we're equal, we may be different, but we're also complementary. And complementarity simply means to bring perfection, no? To complete. And something is added to complete a whole. Our lives are designed to need both the feminine and masculine characteristics. No? And it's a great gift. We are to understand how we can make those differences work for us and against us. Isa ho sigurong perspective, at ito kahit ito na lang yung matandaan ninyo dun sa aking presentation. Anyway, nandiyan naman yung book. As an engineer, I like math, no? So, tatlong formula lang ho, iwan ko sa inyo. First is 1 plus 1 equals 1. So, that speaks of the truth that in marriage, we become 1. No? 1 plus 1 equals 1. And that's one of the foundational truth in marriage. No? You become one flesh, unity in marriage. But also, the second formula is 1 plus 1 equals 2. You remain two different individuals with different makeup, no, and different views, different preferences. And lastly, 1 plus 1 equals 3. No? Because God is very much part of that union, cliche as it may sound, no? That when we get married, God is the third person, no, in that union. That makes whole lot of difference. No? So 1 plus 1 equals 1, 1 plus 1 equals 2, and 1 plus 1 equals 3. Our prayer, even as we move forward in marriage and as we continue to live our married life, is to ask God for that insight and wisdom to approach in a more respectful way the differences you both experience in your marriage. It's a reality that we will have to deal with, no, for the rest of our life. And I would like to leave you with these two passages. One is from 1 Corinthians chapter 13. This is a favorite reading during weddings, but I don't know if we truly appreciate, no, the beauty and the beautiful message, the profound message of this passage. No? Love is patient. Love is kind. And then some practical descriptions of how it is to be kind and how it is to be patient. Pero dalawang perspective lang po, no? Parang yung love is defined as being kind and being patient. And I heard a presentation where it says, kindness is a proactive way of expressing love. No? By being kind, that's being loving. And on the other hand, if we are confronted with something, an unloving thing, the loving response is by being patient. No? The loving response is by being patient. So again, by being kind, we are being loving, but when we are faced with an unloving thing or unloving act, we respond by being patient. And 1 Corinthians 13 somehow captures, no, that truth. No? And lastly, another exhortation from Colossians chapter 3. Bear with each other and forgive whatever grievances you may have against one another. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. Sa atinong buhay bilang mag-asawa, hindi maiwasan na masasaktan natin ang isa't isa. And God's call and God's invitation is for us to be forbearing, to be forgiving, to be patient as He is forgiving, as He is patient to us as our Father in heaven. At this point, I'd like to call on my wife, no, to share to share more, no, about this topic of it's okay to be different.
Good evening. It's my second time to be able to attend this. The first time was the first day that we were able to bring some friends. Okay. My name is Wendy Luna, Roy's wife, and a mother to Nathan, 15 years old, Sam, 13, Gab, 12, Gia, 9, Joshua, 7, and Seth, 2. We have been married for 16 years and have been part of Ligaya ng Panginoon community for the last 15 years. Talking about being different, Roy is the eldest in a brood of 4 boys. While I grew up practically in a household dominated by women, with my mama and 3 sisters, my father being an OFW, a seafarer, and my only brother spending most of his time with his barkada. So it must be the genes, no? It's Roy's genes. Roy is a provinciano who only moved to Manila for his college studies, while I spent my growing years in the city. My side is a relatively small family. Our idea of a reunion is being joined by 2 other families. We would just add some chairs and fit into our dining table. On the other hand, Roy's family and extended family, just on his father's side, will not fit even to 2 buses. And our annual reunion, particularly if we will be hosting, will mean feeding 100 people, including children. So naalala ko yun nung kasal pa lang namin, laki, gusto ko ito lang, 150 lang. Pero pamilya pa lang niya, half of it na. So kailangan namin pagdesisyonan niya. I have been an employee for all my working years and find security getting my paycheck every 15th and 30th of the month. Roy, on the other hand, is a practicing professional and entrepreneur and earns with variable income. So with that, I am more on the conservative part and siya naman yung medyo dreamer, risk-taker. So malaking bagay din yun na pinag-usapan namin in the area of our finances. Okay, one of the things that I like doing, relax, or spending a couple of hours in Centuries, kung alam ng mga girls yun, sa Quezon City, Quezon Ave, Sunday Market, or in Dapitan. It's a place where I find overruns of export quality products at a very budget-friendly cost. While Roy naman would just spend time watching Netflix or read a book. We must admit that our early years together were tough and challenging. After the honeymoon stage, the reality of our differences sink in. We would disagree on a lot of things. Tension would rise, and frustrations on other side was common. This is further compounded as the boys came one after the other. We had 3 boys within 3 years of marriage. Nalala mo yun, yet? Umiyak pa ako nung nag-share ako kasi I'm pregnant again. But another years passed, meron ulit. The challenges of the daily grind, taking care of the practical needs of the family, of the children, unstable household health. Our yayas will not stay longer than a year, perhaps overwhelmed by the sight of a baby and 2 toddlers, aside from the daily household chores. But before you get discouraged, fast forward 16 years later, we're still married. Praise God. Happily, blissfully, I would say, by God's grace. Roy's career as a civil engineer and the company they established 18 years ago has flourished. 3 years into our marriage, he was even able to finish his graduate studies in UP. Noon na kasi yung fatherhood bago nag-masters or nag-masters. So natapos din naman niya yun after. In 2007, I was able to avail of an early retirement package and is now a full-time housewife and mother for more than 10 years already. We were able to build a dream home in 2008, truly a sanctuary where we raise our sons to become healthy, happy, responsible, and loving Christian men. Also a place where we are able to host countless gatherings of family, friends, and brothers and sisters in the community. What made the difference? First, God's grace. It is true that since marriage and family is God's call and gift, and therefore we can also be assured of His grace if we will rely on Him. Secondly, the recognition of our differences that is more of an opportunity to remove out of monotony, to seek God's will, and an opportunity to serve one another, an opportunity to grow in love. Lastly, the truth that we are on the same team. We may have different preferences. I remember when we were building our house, we have a lot of different preferences in the house. And then lastly, parang we just decided na, okay, for for certain areas, you will decide on this and you will decide on this. Although we have the same theme. So, but the Lord led me to really pray and seek His will for the cases that I don't have answer or my heart is asking to win for one battle in that case. But really it helped me to, or it draw me closer to the Lord to seek His will. Lastly, the truth that we are on the same team. We may have different preferences, but we are one in our vision of a strong family, loving relationships, a joyful home, and that vision unites us. We normally refer to ourselves as Team Luna, and indeed, we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Mami Wendy. That ends our sharing and our presentation, my presentation and my wife's sharing, and understand you will again be going into small groups for discussion. Again, thank you, brothers and sisters, and it's been a joy to be with you tonight.
Thank you, Roy and Wendy. So we can break now into our discussion group. No? Can I meet the discussion group leaders and assistants after? No, after.
Yes. Pero hindi, pero kaya